Hello, I am Lunch Lady Lucille, and here comes Lunch Lady Doris. Woo, carrying a big watermelon.
Oh,
Watch the plate.
you know, we sit all day in the lunchroom and we're just preparing the food for that day's lunch, but we hear things.
Yes, we hear lots of things that are being said as you come through the line and as you're sitting at your table.
And we know that there's been a dispute going around.
You know, I heard that there were even some friendships that are no longer happening because people got mad at each other.
It's splitting people apart, splitting friendships apart. The school is being divided.
Ugh, what can we do?
But you know, the cavemen would win.
I think the astronauts would.
The cavemen would win.
Astronauts would.
Why? You're not being smart. Being smart. Come on. The cavemen they have strong muscles.
I think we just need to cool down. Cool down. Doesn't really matter.
You're right. It's not a real scenario anyway.
It's not.
It'll never
It's
happen.
not worth all this fighting and bickering. We need to cool down, and so do the kids.
You're right. That's why we decided to put watermelon on the menu for today.
Great treat.
Because it cools you down. You know, the watermelon is filled with that juicy, the red meat inside, but it's filled with a lot of water too.
And it's so good on a hot day.
Because on a hot day, you don't want like a hot plate of lasagna while you're sitting outside. You want watermelon.
Delicious treats. Kids, at the end of the day, there is not any argument worth losing friends over. Not even cavemen versus astronauts.
So we want you to pause, cool down, and be like Jacob and Esau.
Exactly like Jacob and Esau. You know, they were brothers and they were fighting, but cooler heads did prevail.
So let's let cool heads prevail.
Sounds good.
And don't be caught up in cavemen versus astronauts. We'll talk about things like that really matter. Like what's really in the chuck wagon patty.
I heard it was spam.
I heard it was otter. Let's read. This is Genesis 33. And Jacob lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, Esau was coming, and 400 men with him. So he divided the children among Leah and Rachel and the 2 female servants, and he put the servants with their children in the front, then Leah with her children, and Rachel and Joseph last of all. He himself went on before them, bowing himself to the ground 7 times until he came to meet his brother. But Esau ran to meet him and embraced him and fell on his neck and kissed him, and they wept. And when Esau lifted up his eyes and saw the women and children, he said, "Who are these with you?" Jacob said, "The children whom God has graciously given your servant." Then the servants drew near, they and their children, and bowed down. Leah likewise and her children drew near and bowed down, and last Joseph and Rachel drew near, and they bowed down. Esau said, "What do you mean by all this company that I met?" Jacob answered, "To find favor in the sight of my Lord." But Esau said, "I have enough, my brother. Keep what you have for yourself." Jacob said, "No, please. If I have found favor in your sight, then accept my present from my hand. For I have seen your face, which is like seeing the face of God, and you have accepted me. Please accept my blessing that is brought to you, because God has dealt graciously with me, and because I have enough." Thus he urged him, and he took it. Then Esau said, "Let us journey on our way, and I will go ahead of you." But Jacob said, "My Lord knows that the children are frail, and the nursing flocks and herds are care to me. And if they are driven hard for one day, all the flocks will die. Let my Lord pass on ahead of his servant, and I will lead on slowly at the pace of the livestock that are ahead of me." So Esau said, "Let me leave with you some of the people who are with me." But he said, "What need is there? Let me find favor in the sight of my Lord." So Esau returned that day on his way to Seir, but Jacob journeyed to Succoth and built himself a house and made booths for his livestock. Therefore, the name of the place is called Succoth. And Jacob came safely to the city.
So some of you have brothers and sisters, and your brothers and sisters have done some wrong and mean things to you, but none of them have done as wrong as Jacob did to Esau. Jacob stole Esau's birthright, his inheritance, his life. And Jacob, even though he did all of these things, Esau was able, with God's help, to forgive his brother. That's a lot for Esau to be able to forgive Jacob.
That is. And then he embraced him with open arms, and they hugged and they cried together. I mean, that's amazing. With God's help, Esau was able to forgive Jacob. You know, with God's help, we're able to forgive others too. Because sometimes people do things that make us a little bit hot-headed, a little bit mad. But God does not want us to stay angry at them. He wants us to forgive others. If you need help forgiving others, ask God, and He would love to help you forgive others.
Well, you know what I think? I think everyone in here needs to take time and cool off and not have a hot head anymore. So how about we go cut up this watermelon?
That sounds really yummy.